Strinova releases today, and with there being about 18 agents on release, I want to give you a combat tip that you can use to beat every agent in the game on launch currently. These are going to be kind of beginner tips, maybe some advanced tips here and there, but one tip for every agent that you can use against them to help you out. Starting with B-Mao, when he uses his ultimate, there's going to be a global noise, but if you are near him and you've seen where he ulted at, say you have a sniper, or you were just lucky to be behind him or something, you can actually camp his ult location so that when he comes back, you can instantly shoot him, because he has a little bit of registry time where he can't do anything after he ults. Fragrant, which is a new character to EN side of things, has a passive where she is constantly healing her HP. So when you are fighting her, make sure you are winning the fight fast, because if she comes back, she's probably going to be at full HP. Next is Ming. Ming is an aggressive duelist who is able to regenerate her shield from her passive. Also, keep in mind, if you're fighting her within her skill range, she's going to be having an increased movement speed buff, so that is something you need to avoid. Okay, now with Yvette here, she has a teddy bear summon. It kind of reminds me of Annie from League of Legends, but she also has an invisibility, which is also like Teemo from League as well. And her invisibility has a set range on where she can be invisible from someone's sight. If they are in the range, you can actually detect her. And also, if she's in her teddy bear, you see her summon her teddy bear to go scan out an area, you should keep in mind that she is completely vulnerable while she does her teddy bear, because she cannot move as she is controlling the teddy bear. Now with Flavia, who also may remind you of a certain Shogun from hit game Genshin Impact, she has some counters with her skill and her ultimate here. But one thing to keep in mind is her passive is a cooldown reductor when she gets hit. So when you're shooting her, you should know that you are reducing her skill cooldown. And she can also generate a ultimate point. But while in her ult, if you are outside of the range, you're actually able to shoot into her ult and stop her from respawning and get an insta-execute instead of fighting 50 Flavias over and over. On to Kokona. Now Kokona has a very simple tip, and it's that you are actually able to destroy her healer drone that she has. Now obviously, while shooting at the drone, you're still open to fire, but if you see her drone, you have an open shot and you want to be able to stop some healing, you are able to shoot her drone and destroy it so that you can stop whoever she is trying to support on her team, or maybe herself. With Michelle, who is this cat girl with these turrets, it is very cute as well. She has a passive where if she gets shot, she's able to scan the person that is shooting her. So one thing you want to avoid is fighting Michelle in smoke, because she will have pretty much just aimbot for you while you're in the smoke and you won't be able to see her. So make sure you're not fighting her in any smoke. Nobunaga is a character who's kind of similar to Chamber in the fact that he's able to place down 2 little teleportation anchors, and when he has these, he's able to travel around the map. So one thing you want to do is always make sure you're keeping track of Nobunaga's location if you have one on the enemy team. Also, if you see one of these, you can destroy them so that he's not able to teleport back and forth. Konami is a sniper controller character that is able to scan people with her bullets, but one thing you want to keep in mind is when she's doing her skill, she loads in a special bullet, and this bullet has a projectile, unlike her regular bullets, which are hit scan as far as I know. And when she does this, there is a time frame of when she is shooting the bullet to when she loads in her next bullet where she is vulnerable, and you can take advantage of this by either pushing up to a point or being able to land some shots on her. So that's a good tip to keep in mind when fighting at Konami. Now Luwin here has the opposite passive of Michelle, where when she shoots you, she will scan you. So when you're fighting her, do know that she will scan you after she shoots you for a little bit. Also in her ultimate, while she goes completely invisible, she is not invincible in her ultimate. So if you know her location, you can fire back at her, because she's not able to fire back when it makes her weapon holster. While Meredith does get an enhanced ADS while she is in her passive gliding state, she won't be in her stringify, so she still is a flying target that you can shoot down. And also, if she lands her skill or you've walked into her ult, keep in mind that that decaying HP that you have will come back after you leave the zone. Reichi is a DMR specialist who's able to put down a blinding light zone, but this blinding light zone is something you need to keep in mind of when he is casting his ult, because instead of being a regular wall, it starts becoming an impenetrable wall, and you won't be able to shoot bullets through that. So keep your ears out for when he's casting it so that you don't get caught out. Celestia is another supporting character with her passive being able to give shield to her teammates, but a big tip for combating against her is if you hear her ulting on a teammate and you see her on there, you can actually cancel the TP before it is able to fully execute. Now, however, this will not cancel the shield that is given to the teammate because the shield is automatically given as soon as she casts her ability. She also can fake out her ult and give this shield to just herself and not teleport, so that is something to watch out for as well. Now, with Madalena, who is the Splatoon character with the paint guns, and she's also got the tracer booty going on, one thing big to keep in mind also for the DMR characters as well is she has like a 2 to 3 tap head for most of the game, so that's one thing to keep in mind. Also, her paint, when she's about to splash it on the ground, she actually takes out a different gun, which makes her very vulnerable during the pull-out time and actually casting it. So this is something to watch out for when you are looking for an opportunity to fire back on a Madalena if she is holding you on a position or you're trying to catch her out. Aika, who's one of the newer characters for the EN side of things on Strinova, she has an ultimate that also makes her very vulnerable, as she will be in her flame state where she has 3 bullets that she can shoot out that spawn in these fire tornadoes. Now, these fire tornadoes though, watch out for them if you are in a room and you don't have an angle on her, because then she will be putting damage on you and forcing you to glide, which will be putting you open in the air for shots by her teammates or her herself after she finishes her ult. Aubrey's biggest weakness with her big minigun and her turret form is that her gun is actually able to overheat. Once you see this, she is completely open to be fired at because she either has to leave the animation, which is going to stall her out, or she has to wait for her gun to stop being overheated, which will also have her open for fire. So make sure you're looking out for this when a Aubrey is holding you down on a point. Another thing you can do, however, if the Aubrey is not overheating her gun, is you can flank her because she will not have the shield unless she is aiming at the person that is shooting at her. So if you're able to get a nice flank on her, she will be completely vulnerable as she will be in her turret form. But obviously, if you see an Aubrey holding down a point, don't be peeking her. You're not going to win the battle unless you have a sniper. If you see a Fuchsia that is popping off, or just a Fuchsia who has her second awakening, make sure you're looking out for her revive because she actually has a self-res that she can get, and this self-res does count as her res for the round. So after you have killed this revive, or if she revived already in a round, do keep in mind if you eliminate her again, she will not be able to get revived by her teammates. Also, a bonus tip that you should note when fighting a Fuchsia, if you are low HP, when she scans you, she will always have an exact scan of where you are of your location when you are near her. So when you're fighting her and if you get low and you're trying to run away, the Fuchsia will be hunting you down. Alright, and that is all of the combat tips for the launch super strings, agents, characters, whichever you want to call them, of Strinova. I will be streaming, by the way, for drops on the launch of the game, which is about like an hour from when I'm posting this video as well, twitch.tv/Gib. Love to see you there. If you enjoyed this video, you know, comment maybe something that I missed that you know about a character, or something that you got a tip that you liked or something like that. I would appreciate that, or any criticism you have for the video as well. And I will be seeing you guys later in the next video. Goodbye.